Is this the best thing that Marvel has come up with to date?
Are you kidding me? I can't believe what I watched. I mean, if Kevin Feige really thinks he can get away with writing this crap and think that it's great and it's 5 stars and have us just accept it for what it is and think that it's not like DC, I mean, like the multiverse isn't even as bad as this. What is going on with him? Who is he paying? Who are these writers? They're going down. What?
Johnny, the video hasn't started yet.
Relax.
Take a breath.
It's okay. It's okay.
And welcome back to the final credits.
Now let's talk about Secret Invasion.
Yes, let's.
I'm afraid. Okay, so we've all seen the series right now, and at this point, let the spoilers fly, everyone. This oh boy, this was not good. While we were seeing the trailer for the first time, Johnny actually brought up a good point that I didn't think was feasible, but we were looking forward to a hopefully more grounded story that could be told here on Earth, as opposed to time travel, multiverse shenanigans, things on cosmic levels. It's nice to just get back down to Earth with maybe a very simple spy story. And we didn't get that.
Nope.
No. We got shenanigans and flim-flam, as I like to call it. And I'm big now. I'm not big now. I'm now just Big Grim as opposed to extra large Grim. Anyway, so basically what we got was horrendous. And I understand. Let's start from like the beginning. When I say the beginning, the intro of all these episodes, I know they said that they were helped with AI essentially, but I just thought all these intros were a mess, like straight up a mess. Hardly any thought.
Weren't they all the same? Weren't all the intros the same, or were they different? I don't know.
I only watched the intro once, so I cannot answer that question. I hit skip every single time.
Skip intro.
I was skipping intro too.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. I watched them all because sometimes they do things different or whatever, and they all just like looked like modern art, not the good way. But let's. There's a lot to tackle here. The first episode, I felt like the end when I was the last one to see the episode. Everyone else here was, oh my god, what's it? And I'm just over here like, I think that was just for shock value, just to get us invested in the episode, to which case that's a cheap shot. Wasn't okay with that. With Maria Hill dying for literally no fucking reason.
She died for this. She died for this.
It's a waste of a character because every time she was on screen, it wasn't like, oh my God, she had such a big role. Mm-hmm. But you enjoyed the fact that she was there. She did her thing. It's worse. It's 10 times worse than what they did with Sharon Carter, making her the
the main villain in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
That's not
actually like that one. I'm actually interested in what's happening with Sharon Carter. Killing Maria Hill.
People were using a word that I think best describes it. It's called fridging, like refrigerator. Like they just put her in the fridge and said, that's it. Yeah. Throw the body in there. She's done. They didn't know what to fucking do with her up until this point. And they said, you know what? We're just taking her out and we're not even going to give one flying fuck about how it's done. And we're not going to care what everybody feels about it. We're going to dwell on it for maybe 2 minutes in the next episode. And then we're going to move right on with the story as if nothing's ever happened. And this isn't the last time. This isn't the last time this happens in this show. We'll get into that in a bit. But that was mortal sin number one, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say this about her. She was, yes, not a major character, but she was a consistent character that helped link things together throughout the years since she first appeared on screen. I believe her first appearance was in the first Avengers movie. Her appearance had purpose. Like if we take it all the way back to, not to make this a video about Winter Soldier, but when she does appear on screen, she's on the cover as one of the Hydra agents, but she bails out Cap and Black Widow. So I felt like she could have been used as a consistent presence throughout the series.
And then they make her like an employee of Stark Industries at one point.
They did.
Like, wasn't that supposed to be like a character development moment for her? But they never really went anywhere with that.
She was. She even had a handful of appearances on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show, and I'm getting a call from S.H.I.E.L.D. right now. She even made a few appearances to help connect the show to the movies and the events of Captain America: Winter Soldier. So she could have been a part of Fury's team to the end. And I have this whole thing about I hate character deaths. Yes, I know they serve purpose, but yeah.
But this one didn't. That's the problem. There was no.
It felt like a total waste. Yes.
And on top of that, speaking of no purpose in this scene, so it was Nick Fury who killed her, but it was the antagonist of the show, Gravik, the Skrull, who was trying to take over literally the world, transformed as him to make it look like he was the one that killed her after making this crazy ass, apparently killed 2,000 people terrorist attack in this square. I don't know what kind of bombs he was using, but that did not look like a 2,000 death attack. But anyway, so there was two things that were just like for nothing. It was just her death, number one, and using like a fake Nick Fury to make it seem like it was him, number two. Both of those things were just completely glossed over. Like they were mentioned another time for 2 minutes, and then the rest of it doesn't matter. Let's just move on to the rest of the story, or whatever the story there was at that point.
Can we talk about something else that actually, now thinking about it, also doesn't really matter? Nick Fury has a wife.
Jeez, I figured we were gonna get into that at some point, but yeah.
No, we're getting into it right now. So
wait, hold on,
episode 2.
It's been mentioned before that he has a wife, though.
It has been.
It has been mentioned before in a
That's
previous
fine.
movie.
That's all well good. Didn't matter here. Not really.
When, though?
Well, it did.
Not
It
really.
sort of did.
Didn't have to be a wife in order for all that to really go on.
He said it in real quick. Again, going back to Captain America: Winter Soldier, when he breaks into Steve Rogers' apartment, he says it real quick in passing.
Yeah,
but it
like
is
a throwaway
mentioned.
line.
Yeah.
See, with that, I thought it was just that scene was code word. But I thought that was just a code word in Winter Soldier, though. Like he wasn't actually talking about his wife. He was just trying to make it use code words so he wasn't going to get killed by Hydra.
No, I saw it as when he said it. I was like, oh, he's married. Okay.
I didn't think he was.
Didn't see it as that at all. But anyway, so going through once again all the shenanigans and flim flam. Also, there's something I may have told you guys. I know I definitely told Spade this. I'm going to be completely honest for a second. Ever since seeing Nick Fury in the 90s Spider-Man show, the animated show, I recognize they are both two different versions. They're two different characters. I cannot stand Nick Fury as a character. Reason being, I just don't like characters in that level of power with supreme authority that think they can do whatever they want at whatever whim. And you have to suffer because I'm in charge. Wahahaha. That's just personal preference for me. So to see Rhodey tear Fury a new asshole in episode 2, it brightened my day. I literally thought to myself, this is probably going to be the best episode for this one reason. I know it's for purely selfish reasons, but I love it. I think it's great. It's awesome. Huzzah, huzzah. And then we see the end of the episode where Fury essentially goes home and reveals he has a wife, to which I thought to myself, of all the characters in all of comics that I've seen to have a wife, Nick Fury would be at the very bottom of that list, which again leads again to what I said previously. Shock value number 2. You need to introduce this in order to make your episode relevant. I don't like that. I don't like inputting like things like this. We need to make it interesting somehow. Whoa, what do we do, writers? Fury has a wife. Let's do it. She's also a Skrull. Like, unnecessary.
The thing is, though, it's just like it was presented in a way that like there was no way for any of us to care about that because the whole thing was just a retcon, right? It's like, oh yeah, he's had a wife that was also a Skrull for the past 30 or so years. Like, there's no investment in that. Like, I'm supposed to care all of a sudden about their relationship that I never saw in like the 10 plus years of the MCU up until now. I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. And I'm definitely not buying the fact that he just casually lives in a nice suburban home in the middle of everything as if he's like a normal citizen.
Why not? Why not? You're making it sound like he can't get, he's not getting paid by the government. I'm sure he's making some nice money being, the director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Listen, dude, that's not the point, though. The point is, like, for Nick Fury, the man who's supposed to have all the secrets and have eyes and ears on everyone, and he lives literally in a glass house where people can see indoors and everything, because it is stated in later episodes that, oh, I got the house because Fury wanted it. He wanted a house that he could see everything. All right, cool. People can look inside too in a glass house.
Which is completely unlike him as a character.
Listen, if you really think about it, it's very poetic. It's very poetic.
Yeah. If a fourth grader wrote the poetry.
Yeah, I was about to say the same
thing.
Think
about it. This show was written like it was
by a fourth grader. Yes.
Material. Yeah. So honestly, it's okay. My issue is I wanted a sequel to a Winter Soldier storyline. And what did we get? We got the complete utter opposite.
Yep.
I want to get into Fury's character more, but after we get to the end of like how this series ends, because I think his character in this show is one of the biggest, if not the biggest problem that the writers have here.
Here's the thing with that, Johnny. I'm looking over my notes that I have obviously in front of me because I'm a professional. And oh wait, no, I don't, because nothing really interesting happened until the finale.
No,
the finale wasn't even interesting. Let's be real about this.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Let's talk about the finale, guys.
You mean the finale? The finale that felt so rushed and jam-packed into whatever they could fit into 36 minutes, and like
or whatever you could fit into Gaia. Whatever powers you could fit into Gaia. That's what
yes, that's right. Emilia Clarke was in this show. Let's remind everyone.
Yeah, another waste of an actress. Well, actually, you know what? Amelia, she's not that great of an actress to begin with.
I don't think she's not good. I feel like she's just always put into roles where she has to just be like static. I think her role in Game of Thrones was probably the most iconic, and then after that, she just got put into roles. It's like, hey, this is just the girl from Game of Thrones, and we're not choosing her for any other reason. And I think this was just another instance of that. Her character wasn't used at all in any meaningful way up until up until the finale. But like even then, it was probably one of the worst sequences or scenes of anything in the MCU I've ever seen. I mean, it's just, I mean, you can get into it, but like, ooh boy, man, what a finale in a bad way.
Yeah, she's the strongest Avenger now.
One performance.
She's not even an Avenger.
Let's get performances.
Yeah,
I want to talk about Sam L. Jackson's performance in this because I enjoy him as an actor. This was not him acting.
But as a secondary character,
portrayal was literally just, all right, Mr. Jackson, here's a script. And he said, fuck that motherfucker. I would just do this. And I'm like, Sam, what are you doing?
The thing is, I don't think he was badly acting. I think he was just given a shitty hand of cards and he just had to do whatever he could with it. He was given nothing to do. Like it was basically, I'm just going episode to episode, talking about shit, sneaking in places here and there, making everything basically worse, and then just booking it at the end of the episode, at the end of the series.
Let's not forget, he's 70 years old. What did you expect him to do? Did you expect him to have a fight scene? Did you expect him to be jumping and running?
I'm expecting a better performance. And in terms of age at this point, we didn't get fight scenes and him flipping all over the place. when he was in Django, and we got a quality performance out of that.
But that was 15 years ago.
And we still got a quality performance out of that, like how we can get a quality performance today.
Can we also talk about the capsule that had the blood of the Avengers, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and
I want
Ghost
to give
was not
extra
even
context to that whole scene.
And Ghost is not even an Avenger, like the throwaway villain from Ant-Man 2. Like, I mean,
Let's just wait. Let's just talk about Gravik. Let's talk about his role, his motivations, and how he was used by the end of the season. Because I think
He's
all that revolves around him.
He's a horrible villain, but he is a great Ken.
Great Ken.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah,
nice little Barbie cameo.
Okay, so in the beginning, before like the whole threatening thing, whatever, I was kind of digging what he was doing. I was kind of understanding it, but then by like the second or third episode, he literally had a freak out for no reason, and I'm like, where did this come from? Like this is just at a complete left field, and then he just got right back into it, and I'm like, okay, are you doing the whole unhinged thing? No, you didn't, because you didn't do it again until the very fucking end.
They try to make him. They try to make him unpredictable and unhinged. Like his own people were turning against him because he was getting too psycho for his own good.
But I think that's artificial. It felt so. Everything about him felt so forced and so like artificial, and just they wrote him the way he was just for the sake of making him look unhinged or crazy or whatever. But none of it, like his entire motivation, right? Like he dishes it out in the last episode when he talks to who we think is Nick Fury, who, by the way, doesn't actually fight him at the end, which is like another disappointment.
Which is a waste.
We're going to get there.
Of a monologue.
He goes, it was a stupid monologue. The whole reason, like, all right, just to review, like everything he had done in that span of 6 episodes. He wants to take over the world to make room for Skrulls. He wants to eradicate all human beings by way of World War III. He wants to set off nuclear bombs. He wants to make countries think that they're, attacking each other, which had potential to be a good conflict for writing, but they just flatlined it the entire time with Gravik. And then everything that he did all end up being like he was just doing it only because Nick Fury in the past made him kill somebody when he was young. So and clearly that means he has to be so angry to the point to just eradicate all of humanity. It made no sense. He's screaming at Nick Fury, "You made me kill somebody." I'm like, oh, well, that sucks. But why do we need to have all this? I thought he was so forced.
I thought he was just so angry because he promised a new planet for the Skrulls, and Nick Fury didn't deliver on his promise, and they were they had to figure it out on their own.
Not according to his monologue. Not according to what he said in the last episode.
Plot hole. There's another plot hole right there.
Okay, yeah. Talking about plot holes, we have a whole other video.
I just felt so let down. Mike, I want you to edit it to go kick my own ass in our previous videos about my excitement for this show, saying, "Oh, Nick Fury's gonna get his Nick Fury's getting his own series. Sam Jackson gets the star. This is a sequel to 3 Things in a movie and a couple of the shows, and
this is what happens when you let characters that are purely secondary characters give them their own show. It doesn't work.
It could have worked. It could have worked. The issue with it is whoever wrote that show is, like we said before, 4th grade level writing, because 5th graders could write a better story.
Fair.
Now,
before we get into the horrible part,
before
we get to the horrible part, there is one thing that I do want to bring up, because when I first found out, like, oh, this is Secret Invasion, I was so excited because the comic of this, the story in the comic is like, we're still feeling that a little bit today with certain characters. This was the event of events in Marvel, like characters that you've known, that you've seen their first issue the entire time. Some of them have been Skrulls and we get to re-meet said character. We had a moment in this where we find out Rhodey was in fact a Skrull, which kind of let the air out of my sails when I found out, oh, so Rhodey tearing him apart in episode 2 was just a Skrull. Shucks. Oh well.
Another wasted monologue.
Yeah,
And
technically yes.
And I love that acting scene between the two of them, but that's another conversation. Go on, Grim.
Here's what bothered me. Here's what bothered me. Because this is a small thing for me, possibly, but he was asked multiple times, oh, Colonel Rhodes, oh my God, are you okay? Oh, Colonel Rhodes, how long have you been in here? This question was asked multiple times as they were carting Rhodey out, and we never got an answer. And that is still crawling under my skin to this day, because this could literally be until like the beginning of the series. It could be back in Captain America and Winter Soldier. This could even be back in Iron Man 2, technically.
I refuse to believe it. I believe Rhodey got taken after Endgame.
And well, guess what? Guess what, guys? We don't know right now.
Armor Wars. We're gonna find out then. That's it.
Man, I want to say right now, Armor Wars should have been a TV show, and this should have been like not even a movie, but like its own saga.
This should have been a special.
Okay, since you brought it up, fine. Mm-hmm. I think Marvel should stop making shows because they don't know how to make a show.
They're making movies and chopping them up.
That's exactly what they're doing. That's what it seems like to me. It seems like they're like, oh, let's make a 2-hour movie. Cut 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, 2 minutes there, blah, blah here, blah, blah there. And hey, look, we got a random 6-8 episode show.
Which
and every episode's a half hour long.
Actually work. Because the thing with like a show versus a movie is that you can explain so much more in a TV show.
Right.
Like you could give proper characters development, and you could like sprinkle in a little bit of mystery and whatnot here and there and make things interesting. A movie, by definition, is kind of rushed. So some characters
spent $220 million on this 6-episode show, which I can't fathom and understand where they spent that money because the CGI terribly.
They had to reshoot. That's where the expense came from. They had to redo apparently like more than half of the show. So you mean
the story was even worse than what it was
Probably.
before?
Probably.
We would never know.
This show should have been a 10-episode thing, at least a 10-episode thing, where every episode was at least 50 to an hour to 60 minutes.
I agree. But
absolutely.
Lads, we've gotten to the point. I'm gonna let
wait.
Johnny.
We forgot about Talos.
Yes, that's right. Talos died.
I was just about to say the same thing.
Another wasted character. Why?
Another wasted character for
and
no reason.
He was so good every time he was on screen. He was like one of the best parts of the show. Johnny, I think you said this to us in conversations offline that his death, the way it did it just felt, what the hell was that? You know?
Yeah.
First of all, that was episode 4, like when they staged that whole attack on the U.S. president, which like at first was like, okay, now we're finally getting somewhere with like action, because it was getting boring up to that point. But you had Ben Mendelsohn as Talos, who was like the heart and soul of the show. Like he and probably one of the few strengths of the show was just like seeing his dynamic with Samuel L. Jackson, with Nick Fury. Them like having that conflict where because he was having a similar feeling as Gravik, where he looked at Fury and said you were blipped and then you came back and then you left us again and you basically left us in the dust. And they but he still had that strong friendship with him that I felt like that was like the anchor of the show. And then by episode 4, we're a little bit more than halfway through the show, and we're finally getting somewhere, because up until this point the show was like a slow burn. They just kill him off in a way that was completely like that shouldn't have happened that way, because it was in the middle of a battlefield. Gravik is he's posing as a Russian Russian military person that they want to make it look like Russia's attacking America, and he kills him in the middle of the fight, in the middle of American soldiers trying to defend the president, or like American agents trying to. You would think that somebody would have shot him before he did anything, even though he had extremists in him. But it just made no sense. It was just like Maria Hill. His death was for nothing, and they completely glossed over. He didn't even get like a moment with like Nick Fury, like having a moment just to remember him, or like do a little ceremony to let him pass. I don't know.
Quick moments here.
They basically sacrificed him to raise the stake for Gaia's final battle, which
artificial.
Yeah,
artificial.
Another wasted character, because the way Gravik died made absolutely no sense, because superpowers of everyone, he could have easily healed from that chest wound.
Guys, hang on a second.
I hate this show. I was okay with the show, because now bringing this all up again is just getting me like my blood is boiling right now.
Babe, your time is coming. I promise.
No,
I'm
done.
Now,
I'm done. I don't care anymore.
Johnny,
continue.
This is yours now. The finale is yours.
No,
please guide us through this Johnny 64.
I have never been so like hyped up about something and then pulled right down in disappointment as far as I have with this show. Maybe ever since Iron Man 3. The writing, like you said, Spade, the writing of this show, it felt like 4-year-olds were writing it. It was a 6-episode show that like needed to be at least 10 episodes. It was way too short. There was not enough time to like really flesh anything out, but the whole thing felt pointless. And it was pointless because Nick Fury comes back to Earth, fucks shit up, leaves Earth in the worst position than it was in the beginning of the show, and then he leaves Earth again. He just walks off into the spaceship once again with his wife this time, and then it's like, okay, you're leaving an Earth where the U.S. president just declared war on every extraterrestrial being, which includes Asgardians, by the way. I don't know if anybody picked that up.
I did.
Good luck finding Asgardians. But all of it felt for nothing. I think another character that we forgot to mention was Sonia Fallsworth, played by Olivia Colman. Probably like one of the other tiny strong points of the show. She was entertaining to watch, but her character was pointless. Like they brought her up to be like his old right hand person. Like that again, we just have to accept that always existed. Like I don't feel invested in their relationship, just like I don't feel invested in their stupid. Marriage with him and his Skrull wife. The whole thing just felt pointless. And that finale, oh my God, that finale, man. Like, who thought it was a good idea to have this concept of, we got DNA from every single Avenger and person and villain that fought in Infinity War. Picked it up.
No, not just
had
Infinity
it in
War.
safekeeping.
All MCU. It's all
Endgame, whatever. They made it seem like it was like the battle for Earth, like during Thanos.
Ghost wasn't like Pancake said before. Ghost was not part of Endgame at all. But yet we had her powers, right?
No,
they just collected everything.
Regardless, they had the DNA. Tell me this doesn't sound like a 5-year-old wrote this. Like, yeah, we have the DNA of every single superhero. We're gonna shove every power into one little thing, and then the Skrull's gonna get it, and the other person's gonna get it, and they're each gonna have all the powers of every Avenger and villain that's ever been in the movies, and they're gonna fight.
And I am Captain Planet.
And then the way they visualized it,
yes.
the way they visualized it was so fucking like the worst use of CGI. Like we've had bad iterations of CGI being used in the MCU before. This was by far the worst. Like terrible. That's like so. The way they did it, for those of you who are just watching, maybe they didn't see it yet. Like it's not like so. They're Skrulls. They can fully transform into a shapeshift into whatever person or hero or villain they want to, and they're just transforming pieces of themselves. Maybe we have a Mantis antenna, we have a Hulk arm, we have a Drax arm, which looks so freaking terrible on Gaia.
It was bad. It was very bad.
Oh man, on Amelia Clark, and it just the whole thing turned into a cartoon. You wanted a grounded story that just got thrown out the window. Nothing about that was grounded, but the whole thing again. There was a fight that lasted 2 minutes. They punch and they punch and kick each other and then shoot pew beams and shit like that. Mm-hmm. She had a moment where she did use Mantis's powers, sleep, but it's like, how did you know to even use like half these powers? How do you guys like have the ability to like just be so what's the word for like you're so skilled with all these powers already as if you've been using them for years?
Johnny,
None of it made sense. There was no logic.
You're missing
there
the
was
point.
no point. My point was that there was no point.
Comics. Because comics.
No, that's not even it.
No,
it's because they needed something for the kids. I think they needed something for the kids. This was geopolitical for kids to watch, and they needed something to make it accessible.
I would call the writing for that fan fiction, but that would be insulting to fan fiction.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was just.
And then all the buildup with Nick Fury, it wasn't even him. It was Gaia the entire time, and then she was the one who fought Gravik. And at that point, we weren't invested in the character. We didn't give a shit about her character. So it's like, why do we want to see her fight this guy? Because
shifting focus between that, when you weren't watching that horrendous final battle, the true final battle with Nick Fury in the hospital was literally a shoot him, not me situation.
Yes. Oh man.
I understand
one of the most overused tropes.
But that's the best that you could come up with? Shoot him, not me?
And it was dragged out for like 10 minutes. It was dragged out for 10. Like if I was the actors in that, if I were one of the actors in that room, I'm like, are we getting through this scene yet or what? Like, first of all, like Olivia Colman, her character was like, so the whole scene was just like, okay, we have fake Rhodey or scrotum.
Scrody.
Yeah, you had Olivia Colman with a gun behind his head. They're trying to convince the president that he is not actually Rhodey, and the president's got a gun pointed at Fury. Fury's got a gun pointed at Scrotum, and Olivia Colman's got a gun pointed at him at Rhodey behind his back. First of all, like Olivia Colman's character, she just does what the fuck she wants and doesn't care. She had every reason to just hit the bastard on point right there and just show the president that green blood is coming out and now he's dead and transforming back into scroll form.
Even then,
they didn't need to do any of that.
Shoot him in the shoulder. You were literally right there. It takes nothing. And also, look, he's alive and he has purple blood.
Yeah.
Throw a knife at him. Throw a knife and cut him.
Anything.
You don't have to shoot him.
And then
some blood.
So of course, Gravik dies. He gets out punched, and then of course they end up shooting Rhodey.
Wait! Time out. Hold on. The way Gravik dies, okay, 30 seconds before he got a chest blast, he also got somewhere else got cut, and all of a sudden, here we go. I healed up. But a chest blast, I can't heal that, right?
I don't know, man. Well. Okay, so in Iron Man 3, Iron Man did kill one of the extremist people with a chest blast in the plane. I will give you that. I will give it that. But the whole death was cheap anyway. It lasted 5 minutes, not even. It was just a moment of like, pew, and then he's dead, and then that's who cares. All right.
He blow his head off. That would have been much more exciting.
Go for the head. I know. We've learned that by now.
You should have gone for the head. If I could add, if we're calling this the Iron Man 3 of the MCU Disney Plus shows, it's funny
it's more
that
like Thor: The Dark World Part 2.
Whatever. It's funny that a big plot from Iron Man 3, The Extremists, was a big part of this show because Gravik had it, Emilia Clarke's character had it, and using it for healing ability. I'm like, why are you throwing that in? That's not one of the most beloveds.
It was as pointless as the cameos in The Flash. It's like, ooh, it's Extremist. We haven't seen that in a while. Oh, he's got Groot's powers. That's cool. It's like, who cares? Who cares?
If I could comment, there was also the pointless cameo of the pilot and supplier from the Black Widow movie. I mean,
whatever.
You had all the potential.
Recognize it.
Whatever.
It was like a blink. It was like a blink and you missed it. You had the potential to bring back other. You could have made Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or make a connection or not. Bring back Chloe Bennett as Quake. Bring back Agent May.
They could have brought Elaine. They could have brought Elaine back or Jessica
and that's how they could have made Nick Fury a good character for this show. Is like show his old. No, but not even that. Just like if you want to make him interesting in the show off his old Shield ties. You know, like the people from Agents of Shield. You know, like don't kill Maria Hill. Have her be like an agent for him, his right hand woman, and have them be like team up the way that they always do. Bring back a freaking helicarrier for all we care. Like just do some crazy shit.
Or how about we find out what happened to Tiamat, because we're on Earth and there is a half of a celestial popping out of the ocean. Why can't we know about that?
Oh, that's a whole.
Yeah, we'll cover in Marvels, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, we've been screaming and ranting about this for a long time, and at this point, we have to cut it at this point. Everyone, thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Let us know what you think about the new Iron Man 3/Thor Dark World, because that's how I feel about this entire series.
Don't even insult those movies with this.
Roll credits. We're out.
We're out. Roll credits.